This is a tutorial on how to navigate Villanova's Thermodynamic Analysis of Systems Graphical User Interface, version 3.8. Version 3.7 is available online to download, as well as a tutorial on how to download, open, and run version 3.6. Upon downloading VTAS, you can then run it from your home computer. More instructions can be found in the tutorial for version 3.6. This is the first screen that opens when you run VTAS. From here, you have two options. You can start a new simulation, in which case you can define a new system and all of its parameters, or you can open an existing file if you already have a system defined in a text file. Open and Run gives you the option to bypass all the intermediate screens, whereas Open opens your text file and allows you to edit all the parameters already defined. Here we're going to open and run. If you click Open and Run, it takes you to an input check, in which case it checks for errors or warnings. In this case, there are no errors or warnings that are prohibiting us from running. Clicking Next takes you to a system layout. Here, you can see all your components that you defined in the text file. On this page, you have the options to move components around. To move components around, you can choose the component that you want to move on the drop-down here, and the move type. Under move type, you can choose a differential move or an absolute move. An absolute move gives you the option to define the actual x and y coordinates you want the component to move to. For example, if we wanted the DC component to move to the x coordinate of 10 and the y coordinate of 50, you would enter those into the boxes here and move component. As you can see, the DC component has moved to those corresponding coordinates. If you wanted to move an arrow, as you can see, each arrowhead corresponds to a number. If we wanted to move this first arrowhead, for example, we would choose 1 from the branch drop-down. And since this arrowhead is moving in the direction of the DC component, we define the DC end of the branch to be 1 and the crawl end of the branch to be 0. If we wanted the arrowhead to move towards the DC component, the fraction along the branch would move more towards 1. As you can see, the arrowhead has moved more towards the DC component. After moving each parameter to where you want it to go, you can hit Next, which takes you to the Run screen. If you click Go, VTAS will run through your file and produce this screen. More information on the parameters of this screen can be found in the version 3.6 tutorial. Now let's suppose you want to open an existing file, but you want to edit something in that file. From the home screen, you would open an existing file, open the same file you wanted to edit, and instead of Open and Run, you would click Open. From here, it takes you to the first screen after the opening page. Here you can scroll through each consecutive screen until you get to the parameter that you want. At any point during your scrolling, you can hit the Home Page button, which takes you to the home page. Here you can screen jump to any of the following categories. For example, Fans takes you to the Fan page. Here you can see there's already a total number of fans. This is because we opened an existing file. For example, if we wanted to add a new server to this already existing file, we would jump to the server page. We can change the name to the server to server 3. We can define any parameters that we want. And now we have 3 rather than 2 servers. Instead of scrolling through all of the next screens to get to the Run, we can go to the home page and click Run. Here it takes you to the system layout page, the same one we were at before. Here you can run in the same way that we did before we edited anything. Go will run in the same way that it did before, and you get the same layout page. If you wanted to start from scratch and define a new system, you would click New Simulation from the opening screen. And you can scroll through the pages, defining anything that you would like. Again, at any point you can jump to the home page, or you can just keep clicking next so you get to each consecutive screen and don't miss anything. The difference here, when you click home page, is that the servers and racks, data center, and loop buttons are not available until you define a fan. These components depend on whether or not a fan is defined, and therefore cannot be established until a fan is. If you add a new fan, however, and then go back to the home page, servers and racks, data center, and loops are now available for you to open. Another way that you can navigate through screens is by using the keyboard. Without having to touch your mouse, N corresponds to the next button, B corresponds to the back button, H corresponds to the home page, and E corresponds to exit. This is just an overview of how to use Villanova's Thermodynamic Analysis of Systems graphical user interface. More information can be found on our webpage under VTAS and VTAS's 3.6 tutorial. If you have any questions, I encourage you to contact one of our faculty members, who are listed under team members on our website. All their information is there.